Live from Washington, D.C. on Constitution Avenue, welcome to the National Memorial Day Parade. Please welcome tenor Anthony Kearns and the 250-voice Memorial Day Festival Chorus under the direction of Cindy Petty.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the protected from sea to shining sea, America, America.
It's an annual tradition from Washington, D.C., the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade. With Grand Marshals, the veterans of World War II, representing all who served and sacrificed on the 75th anniversary of America's entry into the war. With special celebrity guests, Gary Sinise, Joe Mantegna, legendary astronaut and Air Force veteran Buzz Aldrin, celebrity chef and Royal Navy veteran Robert Irvine, plus hundreds of decorated veterans and active duty personnel. With performances by Miss America 2016 Betty Cantrell, American Idol winner Trent Harmon, country star John Michael Montgomery, famed supporter of our troops Tony Orlando, country singer-songwriter Phil Vassar, the new American Freedom Train show, and the USO show troupe. Special correspondent, Miss America 2008, Kirsten Haglund. All in honor of those who have sacrificed for our freedom. It's coming to you from Constitution Avenue. And now, please welcome your hosts, Paul Berry and Rita Cotton.
Oh, so exciting here. As an American, as a Vietnam veteran, good afternoon from our nation's capital here in Washington, D.C. for the American Veterans Center National Memorial Day Parade. I'm Paul Berry.
And I am Rita Cosby, the daughter of a World War II POW saved by American troops. And we want to thank all of our viewers joining us today, watching nationwide on Reels Channel and in Washington on News Channel 8. We would also like to welcome the most important group of all, service members watching around the world. I love this, on American Forces Network and online on military.com and Defense TV.
And joining us as Grand Marshals in today's parade will be the veterans of World War II on the 75th anniversary of America's entry into the war. Dozens of surviving veterans will be on hand to represent the millions who served and the more than 400,000 Americans who died during the epic struggle of the 20th century.
From the American Revolution to the current generation that has served in Iraq and Afghanistan, today's parade will include special tributes to the Americans who have served and sacrificed throughout our history. And to help us with today's coverage, as she has every year, Streetside is someone who joins us, and we love her, former Miss America, Kirsten Haglund. Kirsten, you have the best seat in the house.
Oh, I definitely do, Rita. Thank you so much to you guys for what you're doing up in the booth down here. It's a beautiful day on the National Mall. I'm so excited to be here. It's my 5th year, and I'll be bringing you special coverage from the route as well as speaking with some amazing guests. So can't wait to join you at home, all over the world. So glad to be here. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. And now it's time to to have a parade.
It is, and what would a parade be without our next guest, our first one? I love this. Joining us every year is our friend and also a longtime supporter of the veterans and also the National Memorial Day Parade, our dear friend and great patriot, Mr. Gary Sinise in the house. How are you? Great to have you here, Gary.
I'm terrific. It's great to be here.
You've been a very busy fellow. I saw you last night. I saw you on tape this morning. My goodness. Thank you for what you did over there, Gary. This is your 11th year with us in the parade, and you've been hosting the National Memorial Day concert for even longer. Why? I know why you keep coming back, but I got to ask you because I want folks to understand how deep and how important this is to you.
Years ago, I realized that the public eye that I happen to be a small part of can do some good, and so raising awareness and taking opportunities to raise awareness about our veterans and what our military families go through and the sacrifices they made over the years is something that I always take advantage of. And one of the great things that I do is come here to this parade, be a part of this parade, but also the National Memorial Day concert the Sunday night before this parade. It's seen by millions of people, and it's a great way to remind people of what Memorial Weekend is all about.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and you can tell everybody loves him too. It's like you walk by, it's like you are definitely one of the veterans, which is really beautiful. Also, one of the big supporters is American Airlines. How did they get involved? And walk us through that incredible support with them.
With me? American has a great Veterans Initiatives program, and back in '06 I teamed up with American because we came together at an event that we were both supporting.
Jim Palmersheim in the gang.
Jim Palmersheim, a good buddy of mine, he's on my board for my foundation, and we've done so much throughout the year to support the men and women who are serving, to support our veterans. We do all kinds of great things together. They support the Gary Sinise Foundation. As a matter of fact, my foundation is one of the sponsors of the World War II veterans that are here today to help with transportation to get them here.
And by the way, he's a pretty good singer, too.
I know.
Yeah,
He's a talented fellow.
Bass
and you
player.
sing a little,
All
too.
right.
I've heard you. I know. You always love the bass. That's why I was talking about the singing, too.
Gary, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
what you do and for what you continue to do. We love you for
And
it.
thank you for serving, sir.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Gary. Great to be with you, my
pleasure.
friend.
All right, let's head down to the parade route right now. Among the oldest of military traditions in a full honor funeral is that of the riderless horse. The horse is led behind a caisson wearing an empty saddle with the rider's boots reversed in the stirrups, indicating that the warrior will never ride again.
The riderless horse leads a parade annually, a reminder of the true meaning of Memorial Day, honoring our fallen heroes.
And next up is a ceremonial honor guard consisting of marching platoons from each branch of the armed forces. Now, these platoons are under the order of Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, Military District of Washington.
Hello, I'm Major General Brad Becker, Commander, Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, and the United States Army, Military District of Washington. On behalf of all of the men and women in the U.S. Army and the entire Joint Force serving in the National Capital Region, I'd like to welcome everyone to Washington, D.C. and this year's National Memorial Day Parade. Every Memorial Day is marked with solemn remembrance. This year we mark the 151st anniversary of the end of the Civil War, the 71st anniversary of the end of World War II, the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and over 15 years of fighting terrorism in Afghanistan and Iraq. Memorial Day is an opportunity to remember and honor American service members, ordinary men and women performing their duty who died while in military service, and to reflect on what their sacrifice means to us, to our country, and to a world that still depends so much on America for leadership and security. We vow that their sacrifices shall never be forgotten, and for those of us who continue to serve, we will honor these heroes' legacies by maintaining the eternal vigilance that has kept our country free for 241 years. We are proud to represent our nation's military in today's parade and ask that on this special day, you remember all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen serving around the world.
And of course, leading the way is the 257th Army Band, a unit of the District of Columbia Army National Guard. And joining us in this special opening tribute today are platoons from each branch of the armed forces, including the United States Army, the Marines, the Navy, Air Force, and the Coast Guard.
And there they are. Here is the Army's famed Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. I love this, from the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment. They are appearing in uniforms patterned after those worn by musicians in General George Washington's Continental Army. 18th century battlefield musicians wore the reverse colors of their unit, which explains the bright red coats with blue trim. And now we are also honored, and you can see what a beautiful shot here, to introduce the Grand Marshals of the parade, the veterans of World War II, true heroes on the 75th anniversary of the U.S. entry into the war. World War II truly defined the American experience in the 20th century like no other event. The fate of the world was literally at stake, and it took an entire generation of Americans to come together and defeat the Axis powers. Look at those heroes.
Absolutely, and we saw those young military people coming by, walking, who are in service now. But with us now are the surviving World War II veterans from across the country, representing such legendary units as the Tuskegee Airmen, the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions on D-Day, veterans of the epic naval battles of the Pacific, and the Marines who fought on Iwo Jima. They are here in honor of all of their comrades who served and sacrificed to win World War II. And they are riding in classic cars from the pre-World War II era, and their participation is made possible today with support of the Gary Sinise Foundation. He's a busy guy, right, isn't he?
Sure is.
And joining them, of course, are longtime friends at the parade. There's Gary. He ran down and got back in the car, and he's there with Joe Mantegna.
Cool and calm.
Yeah, cool and calm.
Cool and calm. And look, Kirsten's going over
there she
to
goes.
him there.
There
Yeah.
she goes.
Hey, there she is. Kirsten, I see you. You got the two greatest guys there in the place. And she's busy getting in place there. Of course, there she is.
All right,
Kirsten.
I'm here with Tony Award-winning actor Joe Mantegna. You know him from his starring role in Criminal Minds. He's been at the parade with us for 8 years. Joe, welcome. You've had family members that have served in World War II. What does it mean to you to be here in their honor?
It means everything to be here. And once again, this is my 15th year doing the Memorial Day concert. And I just want to let everyone know, Memorial Day is our most important holiday because it is the holiday that provides us with all the other holidays we celebrate all year long. So it's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. And we have our Grand Marshal, also our Brigadier General Robert Hardaway. He was a military surgeon at the attack at Pearl Harbor. He took care of the wounded after the attack. Brigadier General, what does this day mean to you as a member of the World War II generation? What does this day mean to you?
What does the day mean to you?
Pearl Harbor was right. Of course, that in our history. We were at war.
We are so honored to have you here. You're an amazing example of our World War II heroes. He's 100 years old. An American hero for sure. Thanks so much. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Yeah, when's the last time somebody 100 years old spoke to you, right?
Oh my God, what a hero. Amazing.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's the hometown band from right here in Washington, D.C. coming. Here come the Frank W. Ballou Majestic Marching Knights.
Hello, I am Drum Major Trayvon Allen, and I am thrilled to be representing the nation's capital in this distinguished parade. While millions of visitors from around the globe flock to our great city each year, we have the privilege of living here each day surrounded by the rich history of our nation and national monuments. Let us never forget the fallen as we salute them today.
Great to see those majestic marching knights. And as we recognize the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, in 2016, we also recognize another solemn moment of American sacrifice, as this fall marks the 15th anniversary of September 11, 2001. You can see the firefighters there in heroic acts at the World Trade Center at the Pentagon and on board Flight 93 above Pennsylvania. Ordinary Americans performed extraordinary acts to try to save the lives of friends and comrades.
In the face of evil, our first responders demonstrated that the American virtues of valor and sacrifice are still strong. Joining today are family members of the fallen on 9/11 and first responders appearing in honor of those lost 15 years ago. For the past 20 years, there have been one place in America where grieving military families find help, hope, and healing. The Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, TAPS, is America's only nonprofit veteran service organization chartered to assist anyone grieving the death of a loved one in military service to America.
TAPS has been recognized as the frontline resource for compassionate care, providing peer-based emotional support for military families.
Riding on the float is Chef Robert Irvine. He is a veteran of the British Royal Navy and a tireless supporter of our military and first responders. You will best recognize him as a celebrity Food Network chef and host of Restaurant Impossible.
And now let's go to all things possible. Let's go to Kirsten Haglund, Streetside. Kirsten.
The National Memorial Day Parade brought to you by American Airlines.
Here we go.
Official airline of the National Memorial Day Parade. Military.com.
Sorry, guys.
And by Jersey Mike.
How are you? It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too.
And now let's go again to Kirsten. There you go, Kirsten.
All right, I'm here with famed Food Network chef Robert Irvine. He's also a UK Navy veteran. So, Chef Irvine, you're very passionate about supporting our military heroes. What led you to get so involved?
You know, Gary Sinise, the Gary Sinise Foundation, an amazing friend of mine, got me involved many years ago. We spend about 150 days a year on the road with our military and our veterans. I just want to say to our Gold Star families, we thank you for your sacrifice. This is something that America should never forget. 365 days a year, not just on Memorial Day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we'll have more coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this.
Coming up, the parade begins a moving timeline of American military history. And later, performances from John Michael Montgomery, Phil Vassar, Miss America, and Trent Harmon.
thank you, Jim, and welcome back to Constitution Avenue and the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade.
And it's a great day for the parade here with Paul. Thank you to Johnson's Florist and Garden Centers for providing us with this beautiful floral arrangement here in our host booth. We also want to thank Stars and Stripes for being the official print partner, printing thousands, tens of thousands of copies of the parade program to be distributed to folks around the parade route today, and we've got a full crowd. Thank you, Stars and Stripes.
And today's parade is organized as a moving timeline of American military history, honoring fallen heroes from our beginnings all the way through the current generation that has served in Afghanistan and Iraq. Let's head back now to Kirsten Haglund. Kirsten.
Thanks, Paul. We begin the timeline of our parade as we salute the heroes of the American Revolution. Generation after generation of Americans have been inspired by the story of George Washington's leadership through the War for Independence for more than 230 years. All right, we're here with David Walker and Gail Laud from the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes. David, tell us a little bit about your special presentation today.
We have a wonderful presentation to a wonderful combat wounded veteran by the name of Marissa Strock. And we are just so honored to be here at the parade to give Marissa an incredible opportunity to get rid of that financial duress that she's feeling right now. We are presenting $12,000 as part of our emergency financial program to Marissa Strock. Marissa.
Wow, thank you so much. Marissa, thank you for your service. And what does this mean to you?
This means the world, honestly, to be able to get myself ahead and back up on my feet, for lack of a better term. It's just exciting, and I couldn't possibly be more appreciative. I don't know that there's really a word to describe it.
Wow, thank you so much for being here. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
What a great, great thing. Congrats to Marissa. And General Washington traveled 16 miles from his beloved home at Mount Vernon to be here today. There he is. George Washington's Mount Vernon is the most popular historic site in America and welcomes guests 365 days a year. While visiting Mount Vernon, guests can also experience the Orientation Center and the Education Center, as well as an award-winning museum.
George Washington is joining us today thanks to the support of Fundraising Strategies. For more than 40 years, Fundraising Strategies has been committed to serving our nation's military and their families. And hailing from the state of Arkansas, this is the Maumee High School Marching Band.
I am Drum Major Dylan Telford.
And I am Drum Major Abby Couch.
Today marks our first appearance in the National Memorial Day Parade.
We are marching down Constitution Avenue with great pride and honor.
As we honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
May we always remember the true meaning on Memorial Day.
And now let's head down to Kirsten.
With two of our military's senior officers. All right, I am here with two of our military's senior officers, Chief of Staff of the Army, General Mark Milley, as well as Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, General John Paxton Jr. All right, so General Milley, my own grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he was in the Army. You serving in this incredible military force, what does this holiday mean to the Army?
This is a really special day, Kristen, and thanks for being here to celebrate it with us. For the Army, we've been around since 1775, and we've been defending freedom for 241 years. Lots of soldiers have given their lives, and many have made personal sacrifice in terms of life or limb, and their families have sacrificed as well. So for all of us, it's a day of remembrance and celebration for how they lived and then how they fought for our country.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And General Paxton, what can families do at home to support the Marines?
I think the biggest thing on days like today is to remember that there are still a half or 1% of Americans who are out there wearing the cloth of our nation. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines around the world doing great things just to keep our nation free, and just to remember that there's folks out there sacrificing for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. Back to you, Paul and Rita.
Kirsten, thanks, and thanks to the generals, too. Our next float is sponsored by the Purple Heart Foundation. The Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration active in the United States today. The primary mission is to serve the needs of the men and women of our armed forces. They provide assistance with traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, and suicide prevention.
And these wounded warriors are joined by an American legend, Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
We're joining Neil Armstrong. Wow is right. He's been a long way away from the Earth. First man on the moon. You remember that? Buzz served as a fighter pilot in the Korean War, shooting down 2 enemy planes. He's a graduate of West Point and remains a strong advocate for America's space program. He thinks we ought to go to Mars.
I'll go there. Sounds kind of fun. I'll stay here, though, today. It's a good place to be.
While we honor those who have served today, we must remember the true meaning of Memorial Day, paying tribute to those we have lost.
Coming up live, the parade remembers the War of 1812 and the American Civil War.
Live, we welcome you back to this great coverage from Washington, D.C. A lot of fun, isn't it?
A lot of fun. Very special day. We also want to thank a lot of our great sponsors like Leidos, a leading national security, health, and infrastructure company, for being one of the great sponsors for providing lunch to the more than 1,000 active duty military personnel participating in today's parade. We had a good crowd.
Yep.
And the parade continues as we remember the War of 1812. After watching the Americans withstand the deadly British siege of Baltimore, Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the poem Defense of Fort McHenry. Today, it is better known as the Star-Spangled Banner.
We are honored to have with us the highest ranking officer in our military, the 19th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford. General, thank you.
Well, thanks, Paul, Rita. Great to be here.
Such an honor to have you here. You know, people are watching at home, and as you know better than anybody, there are tens of thousands of active duty personnel literally around the world. What can the folks at home do, General, to support them?
You know, Rita, we're 15 years into the longest war in our nation's history, and really events like today that make sure that Memorial Day is about Memorial Day. It's about remembering the fallen. as opposed to the pool is open, the barbecues have started. This is one of the ways that sends a clear and unmistakable message to our young men and women in uniform that the folks back home recognize and appreciate their service.
We all have a responsibility to carry the load. And
we absolutely do. We absolutely do.
You commanded Marines in battle in Iraq and now hold our military's top position. Can you talk a little bit about the responsibility that you feel to our troops, General?
Yeah, I think all the senior leaders, and we've got most of the Joint Chiefs here today, the biggest responsibility we feel is to make sure that the young men and women that we send in harm's way have the training, have the support, have the equipment, and as you mentioned, have the support of the American people back home to do what needs to be done.
That makes a difference.
Sure
Absolutely.
Does. General, thank you so much for your service. It's a real honor. You keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, sir. Good to have you here, sir.
We're up again.
Yes, thanks so much. Okay, absolutely.
And
what a pleasure.
Yeah, what an honor. Let's head back to Constitution Avenue for the next part of our parade. The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who sacrificed in the Civil War. Brother fought brother in the bloodiest war in U.S. history, with more than 600,000 Americans, North and South, dying in battle. With malice toward none, with charity for all, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds.
Now, those words were so eloquently spoken by Abraham Lincoln during his second inaugural address and demonstrate his devotion toward healing our shattered nation. Whitney Lester is appearing as President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. President Lincoln's appearance is made possible by News Channel 8 here in Washington, D.C.
Lincoln looks pretty good for his age.
He does. He does. Outstanding. Beautiful horse, too.
Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful, and great crowds here, too. Again, all along Constitution Avenue, everyone. This is a full house, and it is perfect weather for a parade to honor our troops, their families, and those who are no longer with us, too.
I thought we were going to get a little rain, but it didn't happen. It's just turned out to be a glorious day, an absolutely beautiful day.
And the African American Civil War Memorial and Museum is proud to represent the first USCT regiment. The first USCT was established in May 1863 in Washington, D.C. during the Civil War and was comprised of mostly formerly enslaved men from the region.
And Civil War battles include New Market Heights, the defense of Fort Pocahontas, the siege of Fort Fisher by an amphibious assault, and the occupation of Wilmington, North Carolina.
And now let's head back to Streetside for former Miss America, Kirsten Hagelin. Kirsten.
Thanks, Rita, so much. I am here with the Honorable Deborah Lee James. She's the Secretary of the Air Force, and General David Goldfein, Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. So, Deborah, just can you talk about the honor of leading the men and women of the United States Air Force?
Oh, Kirsten, it is an epic honor, and indeed, I call them the epic generation. We're also honoring the greatest generation, our World War II vets, but today's generation is epic. They are fantastic. They're the best we've ever had. Only 1% serve nowadays of the American public, and that is incumbent upon the 99% who doesn't, to honor and to remember and to always say thank you.
Absolutely. And General Goldfein, you're about to take over as Chief of Staff. Tell us what that is going to mean to you on this Memorial Day.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, this pending confirmation, I'll be honored to take the reins of the Air Force, work with Secretary James. You know, for me, it's twofold. Number one, it truly is an honor to serve. And it's a reminder, like today, what an honor it is to put on this uniform every day. And second, as a senior leader, it's a reminder of the obligation that we have to take care of the greatest treasure in our nation's arsenal, which is the young men and women who sign up to serve. That's what today's all about.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much, American heroes. We appreciate your service. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. From the western state of Arizona, marching into view now is the pride of the Nogales Marching Band.
Great job.
And for more than 160 years, the famous Stagecoach has represented Wells Fargo's dedication to serving their customers and the communities they serve. They do this so well. It is the living expression of who and what Wells Fargo is all about, working together, and a celebration of America's history of linking East and West. This company does so much to support our veterans.
It is a proud sponsor of the National Memorial Day Parade. And to learn more about Wells Fargo's support for our military and veterans, please visit wellsfargo.com/veterans. Wells Fargo, providing financial services to our country's military personnel since 1956.
The next float comes to you from USBA. They've been proudly serving our country's military personnel and veterans with affordable life insurance since 1959. Caring about their members is their #1 priority, as evidenced in their tagline, armed with compassion, dedication to service.
USBA is honoring all those soldiers and their families who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country with a special and very moving video message that can be found at usba.com/wealwaysremember.
And riding on the float there with the little iPhone you can see is the reigning American Idol, Trent Harmon, a native of East Mississippi. Just last month, Trent won the 15th and final season of American Idol. His new single, Falling, has been shooting up the Billboard Hot Country charts, and now singing Falling is Trent Harmon.
That's when I look at you, and right on cue, your body moves. It's like you're putting on a show. Yeah. Gotta get to me, your pretty little tease. I just keep falling for you, baby. You just keep giving me one kiss at a time. Ain't nothing now that's gonna save me. Ooh, your sweet love keeps falling. I just keep falling. It's crazy, baby, what you do to me. There's magic in your kind of gravity, and any fool can see why I just keep falling for you, baby. You just keep giving me one kiss at a time, and nothing now it's gonna save me. Ooh, your sweet love keeps calling. I just
Wow, Trent Harmon of American
I just keep falling. If I could sing.
It's over. Otherwise, I would have put you in for next season. Thank you to Trent Harmon. Thank you to Paul Berry for the backup. And we're going to be back with a lot more of the parade right after this. And welcome back. I'm Rita Cosby, along with Paul Berry, my co-host, and we want to make sure that we thank the American Veterans Center for organizing today's glorious parade. While most people may expect that such a huge event can only be pulled off by the military or the government, in reality, the parade is made possible through the very hard work of a small, private, non-profit foundation.
I love a parade, and they've done a great job.
They have. It's been fabulous.
To learn more, visit AmericanVeteransCenter.org. With us coming up as one of country music's most successful artists. I've been watching him set the stage for the last 25 years. Over the years, he's charted 15 #1 hits, including 2 Billboard Country Songs of the Year. Go ahead. I know you want to go.
Yeah, actually, I love this guy. One of them is Singing Letters from Home, and I was talking to him. He's a good guy, too. Please welcome John Michael Montgomery.
I hope this letter catches up with you and finds you well. It's been dry, but they're calling for rain, and everything's the same old same in Johnsonville. Your stubborn old daddy ain't said too much, but I'm sure you know he sends his love. And she goes on in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't buddy, and they all laugh like there's something funny about the way I talk when I say mama sends her best y'all. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work. And it keeps me driving home, waiting on letters from home.
Wow, what a beautiful song. Thank you to John Michael Montgomery, big supporter of the troops. The parade now honors the fallen of the Spanish-American War. Theodore Roosevelt served as Secretary of the Navy prior to leading the first U.S. Volunteer Cavalry Regiment known as the Rough Riders. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 2001, the only U.S. president to actually receive that award.
Wow, and this is the 5th year Arthur Tennyson Thompson has portrayed him. He joins us today thanks to the generous support of Buzz Aldrin Hamilton.
The first U.S. Volunteer Cavalry Regiment, Rough Riders, was formed in 1978 to provide a living memorial to Theodore Roosevelt and his gallant volunteer regiment. The 1,200 original Rough Riders camped in Tampa prior to leaving for the campaign in Cuba during the Spanish-American War. A bit of history there.
And the group lives to get up and become personally involved with the community where they live and where they work.
It's the centennial of the National Park Service, 100 years of caring for America's most treasured places and honoring those who have served and those who have fallen on behalf of our nation.
Here are our hardworking National Mall and Memorial Park staff, all of whom have proudly served in America's Armed Forces or are currently serving in the Guard and Reserves. And here's a message from Superintendent Gay Vitsky.
Welcome to the National Mall and Memorial Parks. Our brand new float celebrates the National Park Service Centennial and the many cultural and historical sites here in Washington, D.C. The float features the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the African American Civil War Memorial. The National Park Service extends its thanks to all National Park Service staff, partners, and volunteers who have served. And we'd like to recognize those members and former members of the armed forces who now help care for America's most special places.
Black troops led by white officers, the Buffalo Soldiers, served in the harshest of conditions. When the Plains Indians saw the black troopers in their great coats, the Cheyenne Indians called them wild buffaloes. The Comanches called them crazy buffaloes. They served with distinction, displaying valor in every theater, earning 14 medals of honor during the Indian Wars.
They were great fighters. The Buffalo Soldiers were awarded 4 Medals of Honor during the Spanish-American War and the famous Charge of San Juan Hill with Teddy Roosevelt.
Introducing the new American Freedom Train Show Float. With the float today is co-author of the children's book, the 1947 Freedom Train, Kathy Maggard, along with educational partners from the National Infantry Museum in Columbus, Georgia.
A moving and inspiring, one-of-a-kind musical and a multimedia experience, the new American Freedom Train Show celebrates the foundations that made America great: faith, family, military, and work ethic.
Riding on the float is Nashville recording artist and U.S. Army veteran Tim Maggard and a team of talented musicians. They're now going to perform the world debut of their new single, American Blueprint.
Stood against an iron hand. A band of rebel hearts took a shot in the dark. It took what they gave to get us this far.
By the way, part of this is available for download on iTunes today, and a portion of the proceeds of every download will go to support the National Memorial Day Parade. So how wonderful, giving back to this great, great event.
bigger plan. A red, white American, American. Blood and sweat and faith, dreams anyone can chase. A red, white American blueprint. Oh yeah, it's our American blueprint.
The National Moment of Remembrance, established by Congress, asks all Americans, wherever they are, at this time to pause in an act of national unity.
And right now, the National Memorial Day Parade will participate in that moment, coming to a complete stop while taps will be played in honor of all of those who have sacrificed their lives. Wherever you are, we ask that you please join us for this moment.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and the grace will lead me home.
beautiful. Perhaps was played by U.S. Navy musician First Class Josh Armstrong from the Military District of Washington.
That was absolutely beautiful. And singing Amazing Grace, that beautiful rendition, was Master Sergeant Antonio Giuliano from the United States Army Chorus. How moving. And welcome back to coverage of the American Veterans Center National Memorial Day Parade. This is Rita Cosby along with Paul Berry. Events DC is the face of conventions, entertainment, sports, and cultural events within our nation's capital. Enriching DC's entertainment scene is a top priority for Events DC as they remain committed to promoting our city's talented artists, signature festivals, and lots of iconic venues to bring the best support of the district's rich creative community. And for more information, you can go to eventsdc.com.
The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who served in the Great War, World War I.
More than 116,000 Americans died in service during the First World War, in what all hoped would be the war to end all wars. However, lingering resentments led to the rise of Nazi Germany and eventually World War II.
Hi guys, I'm here with retired Army Staff Sergeant Shiloh Harris. He was burned in over 40% of his body when a 700-pound explosive took out his Humvee, killing the 3 other passengers, but he is here with us today. Thank you so much, Sergeant, for being here. We so appreciate you and your service to this country. And we hear you've been working with an organization, Helping a Hero, and you have a home specially built by them. Tell us a little bit about what this home does in your everyday life.
Helping a Hero came in a couple of years after my injuries, and I mean, I think I want to say that just came in at the right, perfect time, you know, to help me integrate back into my children's lives, and you know, because I have a hard time dealing with the heat, with the scar tissues and stuff. The house that they built for me has a back porch that's really nice and covered, and got misters to help keep me cool during the summer and allow me to spend time with my children. You know, because that was always our biggest thing, was not being able to do stuff because of the heat. And being in Texas, you can imagine. But it's a beautiful day today. I'm absolutely proud to be here and representing Helping a Hero.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate your service.
I'm proud to be here.
Back to you, Paul and Rita.
And thank you, Kirsten. From the state of Michigan, here comes the Southfield High School Marching Blue Jays. Got you.
And the next float comes to us from the Lions Clubs of Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Lions Clubs International operates in over 200 countries or geographic areas around the world. Its 1.4 million members in over 46,000 clubs comprise the largest service club organization.
And I've got my eye on this one, because also riding on the float is our current Miss America, Betty Cantrell. As is tradition in the parade, Miss America will now perform God Bless America.
The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who served in World War II. 16 million Americans served and more than 400,000 died, making it truly the defining moment of the 20th century.
All right, I'm here with General Frank Grass from the National Guard and Admiral Chuck Michel from the Coast Guard. So General Grass, the National Coast Guard traces its history all the way back to 1636 and the first militia units in Massachusetts. Tell us about the Guard's mission today.
Well, we have three missions today. One is to provide combat capability to the Army and Air Force when called into federal service. Every day we have men and women also supporting the governors in disasters at home. And we also provide partnerships both with the community and also international partnerships.
All right, and Admiral Chuck Michel, you just celebrated the 225th birthday of the Coast Guard, so tell us more about your proud tradition.
Founded in 1790 by Alexander Hamilton, the Coast Guard is the nation's longest continuously operating seagoing service. We served in all the nation's wars, and we continue to defend Americans today.
Wow, that's incredible. I bet a lot of people didn't know that the Coast Guard was founded by Alexander Hamilton. Thank you both so much. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
And thank you, Kirsten, so much. We are honored to welcome representatives from one of the legendary groups of World War II, the Flying Tigers. And joining us today are Wayne Johnson, Don Juilliard, and General Patrick Chen, veterans of the Flying Tigers.
Before the United States entered World War II, a daring group of volunteer American pilots went to Asia to defend China. They were commanded by Claire Chennault, a retired U.S. officer who was overseeing the training of the new Chinese Air Force. The American unit, known as the Flying Tigers, was responsible for the first U.S. victory of the war when it defeated a Japanese attack 12 days after Pearl Harbor. The Flying Tigers proved so successful, they were eventually folded back into the U.S. military, becoming the 14th Air Force under the command of General Chennault. The Flying Tigers were the cornerstone of American operations in the China-Burma-India theater of World War II and were instrumental in building the long partnership between the United States and the Republic of China.
And established in 1982, the ROC Veteran Association of Greater Washington is one of the biggest Chinese community organizations in the Washington area.
Well, today, U-Haul continues to support wonderful support of our veterans and troops by showcasing the 5 branches of our armed services on the side of the U-Haul trucks: Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, and Coast Guard. U-Haul is committed to serving our veterans by giving them priority in their hiring process.
And U-Haul is once again honored to be a sponsor of the parade and to be able to remind the public about the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor and remember all of the men and women who have given so selflessly for our freedom and to honor the families they left behind. Always love seeing those trucks. They are here year upon year. They are such huge supporters. It's beautiful to see.
It is. It's a great sponsor of this event.
Keep the Spirit of 45 is promoting awareness in the 75th anniversary of important World War II events that will be taking place beginning with the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Indeed, the float features the image of the famous Times Square kiss, symbolizing August 14th,
there it is.
1945.
Woo!
The day the news that the war had ended. The float is provided by U-Haul International. Escorting the float are members of the American Legion Riders, led by Dr. E. Bruce Heilman, World War II veteran and the Chancellor of the University of Richmond.
It's a lot of kissing getting in there.
Oh, yeah. Next up are youth volunteers carrying photos of the Americans who died in the attack on Pearl Harbor and others who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country during World War II, including the 81 members of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen who were killed in action during the war. Youth leaders come from as far away as the states of Oregon and California.
And we'll be back with more of our parade coverage right after this.
Coming up live, we honor the fallen of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And musical guests Phil Vassar and Tony Orlando join the parade.
Till I was 10, I was thin, and I was playing first base with a second-hand glove and dirt on my face. In nowhere, Virginia, who'd ever figure that kid in the yard would go very far? 'Cause 419 Lakewood had no silver spoons, just an old beat-up upright that played out of tune. And now I'm singing and living the life that I love. And when I count my blessings, I thank God I was an American child, an American child. 'Cause dreams can grow while born inside an American child. My grandfather would have been 80 today, but in 45 he fell down beside an American child, an American child, an American child. 'Cause dreams can grow while born inside an American child, an American child. Whoa.
So appropriate. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, thank you to Phil Vassar for that performance. We would like to thank the following sponsors for the support of the parade: the nation of the state of Kuwait, Military Order of the Purple Heart, the Gary Sinise Foundation, and Wells Fargo.
And lots more: USBA, the Uniformed Services Benefit Association, the Lions Club, International National Rifle Association, and also Lidos. And now let's continue with more of the parade. More than 36,000 Americans died during service in the Korean War, often called the Forgotten War. Today, veterans refer to Korea as the Forgotten Victory, with the economic success of South Korea.
Leading our tribute to the Korean War generation are veterans of the Korean War riding in military vehicles of the era. They are members of the Korean War Veterans Association, which has more than 14,000 members and 330 chapters nationwide.
And the Korean War began 66 years ago when North Korean forces invaded the South. Fighting continued for more than 3 years. U.S. troops in Korea displayed countless acts of valor, and to date, 146 Americans who served in Korea have been awarded the Medal of Honor. The Korean American models that you see there in full regalia dress are from the greater Washington, D.C. area. They are marching today to show their everlasting gratitude to the Korean War veterans of the United States for saving their country from the onslaught of communist aggression.
Now they finally refer to the Korean War veterans as their grandpas. From the state of Wisconsin comes the Appleton East Patriots, their band and dance team.
I am Drum Major Shannon Waldo.
And I am Band President Robert Kirsten.
I am proud to say, upon graduation, I will be going into the Air National Guard.
And I am also proud to say that I will be joining the United States Air Force.
This great parade today is very meaningful to each of us as we prepare for a journey to where we can now become a part of history as we plan to serve our nation.
We plan to wear our military uniforms with pride, honor, and dignity.
As we continue the National Memorial Day Parade Parade pays tribute to those who served in Vietnam.
Please welcome the Honorary Marshal representing the heroes of Vietnam, Brigadier General R. Steve Ritchie. General Ritchie is the only Air Force ace pilot of the Vietnam War, shooting down 5 enemy jets. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Air Force Cross, second only to the Medal of Honor.
Snowball Express is dedicated to serving the children of our fallen military heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice since 9/11. Snowball Express remembers those fallen heroes who will never return and honors the supreme sacrifice their families made. We want to recognize and thank American Airlines for their tremendous support and partnership.
And with the float are several of the Gold Star children and families in American Airlines volunteers. Singing as the legendary entertainer and philanthropist Tony Orlando, who's been a huge advocate of our veterans and military families, along with Tomaszek Bednarek. He's especially known for supporting our Vietnam veterans over 40 years.
Land of promise, the home of liberty. From the cornfields in the valleys to the towers in the skies, America is my hometown. Whoa, America is my hometown. Yes, America is my hometown.
Thank you to Tony Orlando and also Tomaszek Bednarek there. He was singing America is My Hometown. Tony wrote that song with part of the proceeds going to Snowball Express, a great cause. And from the state of Missouri, next up is the Potosi Trojan Marching Band.
All right, let's head back now to Constitution Avenue and Kirsten. Kirsten.
Thanks, Paul. I'm honored to be standing here with the legendary Tony Orlando, who's been a huge advocate for our veterans. Tony, you've been very supportive of our Vietnam vets, but tell us why you're so passionate about Snowball Express and these kids.
The children you see on this float are the children of our fallen heroes. And I think it's important that this organization, now in its first years, bloom into a place in which we can take care of the children of our fallen, because they're going to need our assistance. They're going to need our scholarships, and that's what we plan to do here with our Snowball Express. I'm honored to be the spokesman for them and American Airlines. I want to thank them for it, and thank you, Kirsten.
Of course, thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate you and everything you're doing. All right, we'll be back with more live parade coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this. Yeah, thank you for everything.
Coming up live from Washington, D.C., a very special salute to the heroes of the Gulf War as we mark the 25th anniversary.
me where I come from. Here's what I tell everyone. I was born by God's dear grace in an extraordinary place where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. There's a lady that stands in the harbor for what we believe. And there's a bell that still echoes the price that it costs to be free.
Well, it ain't the only place on earth.
Ain't the only place,
But it's the only place that I prefer.
place that I prefer.
Well, if you got pride and you're proud, you do.
Yeah, we could use some more like me and you. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly.
And welcome back to Washington, D.C. Thank you to the USO show troop. They were
Very
awesome.
good. Yeah.
The National Memorial Day Parade salutes those who have served in the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm.
The Gulf War, known as Operation Desert Storm, brought together the largest coalition of countries since World War II. It proved the most decisive victory in modern warfare.
This very special float commemorates the 25th anniversary of the Gulf War and victory in Operation Desert Storm. It is brought to us by the nation of the state of Kuwait. Joining the float are representatives of Kuwait appearing to express their appreciation for the Americans who served in the Gulf War.
And on behalf of the people of Kuwait, we have the following message from the ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Salam Al-Sabah.
I'm honored to be with you today on this very important 25th anniversary of the liberation of my country, the state of Kuwait. And I'm here to tell you that the people of Kuwait and the government of Kuwait will never forget what the U.S. Armed Forces and the U.S. people did for us 25 years ago when you gave us back our liberty and our sovereignty. And for folks like myself that lived through that episode and remember the brutality that my government went through, we will carry the gratitude to the U.S. in our hearts forever. Thank you very much from the people and the government of the state of Kuwait.
And it is the 25th anniversary of the Gulf War and the 25th anniversary, almost to the week, of the National Victory Celebration Parade, which took place on June 8, 1991 along Constitution Avenue. It was virtually the same parade route as of today.
And for the first time since we are honored to welcome hundreds of Gulf War veterans to Constitution Avenue as they return to Washington in the largest reunion since that parade 25 years ago. Rita. Okay, Kirsten is down on the parade route. Let's go down to her now.
Hi, thanks, Paul. All right, I am here. I'm a very lucky girl with two of the top commanders on the ground in Operation Desert Storm, Army General Fred Franks, as well as Marine General Walt Boomer. So, General Franks, we're going to start with you. What does this day mean to you as someone who participated in Operation Desert Storm? What's Memorial Day all about for you?
It's especially moving and inspiring to be here today on this Memorial Day, this sacred day in America, where we honor those from all of our wars who have died in service to our nation, and especially this 25th anniversary of Desert Storm with 900 families over here on the steps of the archives and 500 fellow veterans marching here. I feel very privileged to have commanded 7th Corps and today to remember the 111 men and women, American and British, who died in the service and their families.
Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much. And General Boomer, what is the legacy of the Gulf War?
I think it's this. It proved to us that we're in the military, that these young men and women, and we knew this all along, were just fantastic. They were brave, they were courageous, they fought with ferocity and skill and honor and integrity and liberated Kuwait in 3 days. What more could we ask of them?
Absolutely. You both are American heroes. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more live parade coverage right after this.
Coming up live, the parade's grand finale. Hundreds of uniformed troops in tribute to those who have sacrificed on the front lines today.